Is there literally a bit of thumb that you had to throw in the bin, or were they
Yeah,
able to?
no, I brought it with me in an ice bucket in like a little. I put a Tupperware. It's funny, honestly, but it was actually funny. So it happened, and the very first thing I did, I grabbed paper towel, I wrapped it, calm as a cucumber, honestly, and then I realized, oh, I need to find the piece of thumb. So I start rummaging through tomatoes and looking for my thumb. I find it. It's a tiny piece, and I just like put it in a Tupperware, put some ice in it, and I tell my wife, I'm like, wait, did you take the Tupperware with my thumb? And she's like, no. She's like, wait, what? And she's like, I thought you were taking that because you wanted to put your thumb in it so it could ice. I'm like, no, that container has my thumb in it. Yeah. Anyways, it wasn't useful. They couldn't do anything to save it. So.
Out of 10, what would you give this? Would you give this a whole thumbs up, or would you give it 0.9 of a thumbs up, like Nick has just done? Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Welcome to Our Architected with Nick and Holly, where together we're experts in AI and data engineering, but separately, not so much.
This is the podcast where we talk about new features in Databricks and then try to shoehorn them into one architecture to see if it's actually realistic. And here's our favorite features from the last 30 days. I think I'm going to go first. So you might have heard about Autoloader, which is a way that you can ingest data into Databricks. It does a lot of your checkpointing so that you're not retrying things, you're not duplicating your processing to get data in twice. And one of the things you were able to do previously is to set up file events for it. So if you have like an SQS queue, I guess the Q stands for queue in SQS, doesn't it? You could set that up so that you could get notifications about all of your metrics and all of the stats that were going up. When you create an external location, Databricks file events is now able to do this automatically for you. So if you just set up your policies, you set up the permissions and everything like that, and it will do it all for you.
SQ. Yeah,
what does the SQS stand for?
Simple queue service. Simple queue service.
Yeah, that's a classic AWS naming convention, isn't it? So here we are in AWS, and this is how I've set up my permissions for my particular S3 bucket that I've got here. But basically with this policy, I have added a few bits and pieces in here, and you'll notice that I've added the permissions for this SQS service. Now, because this is brand new, because I've set up this with an external location using Databricks, that means that all of the systems behind it have been set up for me. So this is the example of what it's gone ahead and created. So I've got a topic here, and then I've got some subscriptions which have been created for me. So if I have like a messaging service, maybe I should go ahead and put the diagram here about how you would go ahead and set this up. So if you've got like a notification service that's going up at the moment, this is something that you've always been able to do it. To be honest, it was really a faff to get it set up, but now this is something that you are able to do, and it's a lot simpler. So if you are doing ingestion at a massive scale, this is incredibly useful for you. Stop sharing. Sorry. I'm a professional, right? Sorry, yeah. So my demo was sorry, can you see the...
I can see you on... Yeah, I'm watching.
So this was my policy. These are my things for SQS. And then these are the subscriptions that have then gone ahead and been created. Ta-da! In conclusion, Autoloader. It's great. Everyone should use it.
Okay.
It makes things a lot easier than it used to. How about that?
I mean, I've been using Autoloader in all kinds of ways for a long time. So what the TLDR is really, it's for external locations, and it's much faster. That's like, is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, Autoloader, yeah, it's faster. It's a lot more reliable, especially when it comes to retries and things like that. And also when it comes to scale as well. And weird little things like if you've got data that needs to be rescued or it's not quite come in the right format, it's great for that.
Okay, got it. Is it just for AWS?
That is an excellent question. I did not check. Let me check now.
Sorry.
Right, come on. Platform release notes. So sorry. Azure has its own version of SQS. It's got Azure Data Lake Storage Queues. So again, very similar in terms of naming convention. But it looks like the setup is pretty much exactly the same. substitute a few AWSs for Amazons in terms of the steps. So
Okay,
Databricks
cool.
is able to do it.
It's part of the same release. Like this is the same thing. This
Yeah,
isn't
it's probably
okay.
the same
Got it.
thing.
Cool. All right,
I
sweet.
think if you wanted to, you completely outed me on the first feature. Thanks, Nick. I think if you wanted to, you could set up notification on AWS for Azure stuff, but that sounds like a cross-platform nightmare, candidly.
Okay, so let me draw it.
Okay.
Autoloader, very straightforward to draw.
Draw, autoloader, data goes in.
Autoloader. But what are we auto loading?
We need some data. I'm trying to think what's been like a big data generator recently.
The Olympics.
Yes. Yeah, we could get a load of like IoT data in, or we could get heart rate data and sensors and stuff. And like, there's all the venues, and there's all the medals, and all the countries, and all the teams, and everything.
Okay, that's a pretty broad amount of data that we just said. Heart rate, venues, drinks.
No, I mean, because it was like there's loads of different places that it was happening, wasn't it? Like loads of different stadiums. It's not just like one
So
big thing.
Are we just gonna say 2026 Olympic data? We're auto loading it in.
I feel like that's
Okay.
a wide enough array of things to have stuff that's kind of IoT shaped, but then you've also got things that like could fit in a CSV, and Autoloader is actually not bad at CSV data. Granted, there's not normally a huge amount of it.
Okay, 26 games. We're dropping it into a landing zone of a delta table of some kind. Let's just call it our raw. So bronze. Oh, the medallion architecture has never been so appropriate. Bronze, silver, and gold.
The medallion. Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you would say that the medallion architecture doesn't work for everyone. How dare you, Nick? It clearly does.
Yeah. It's okay. You'll pick up on my joke by the next episode.
Fine, yes. Now I get it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, you're too fast for me.
I'm going to start off with, we have 3 new models in Databricks Foundation Model API support. We have 2 from Anthropic, the 4.6 Claude Sonnet and Opus, both of them. These models, I think I might have mentioned this last time, but like there's been a step function improvement using these models, and particularly using them within the harness, like Claude Code. And you can, and I showed this last time, point it to Databricks you get like out of the box instrumentation, inference tables, AI gateway features, PI detection, all this kind of stuff comes pretty much out of the box with it. The other one is Gemini 3.1 Pro. I think that was just like a few days ago. I have not tried it. And I think I saw that there was some impressive benchmark. I don't remember which one, honestly. It's hard to, I'm just being honest. It's hard to keep track. I am super impressed by the Anthropic models. I've also been using the Codex stuff, 5.3, 5.2. It's pretty awesome.
Wait, okay then. So am I adding this to our Olympic data?
Yeah. I mean, you can go to town. You can add it in all kinds of different ways, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess this is foundation model. What does this mean? Like I can create my own custom agents with it?
You can. Although if you are using agent bricks, then you don't get to choose. And like if you're completely customizing it, then yeah, you can do whatever you want. That's the definition of custom. But if you're using the agent bricks kind of out of the box, knowledge assistant, multi-agent supervisor, information extraction, those kinds of tools, then we are doing a lot of stuff to kind of give you better, well, I guess state of the art, but even better than the state of the art that you would get with those models out of the box.
That's fine. And so, sorry, which ones do we have available to us? There was 3, wasn't there? Yeah.
So Claude Opus, Claude Sonnet, both of those are 4.6, and then Gemini 3.1 Pro.
And what are they like good for in terms of like their specializations?
I've been using Opus for coding. Essentially, that's the one I can speak to from experience, and it's amazing. This is like in the weeds now, but like there was Opus 4.5. It's what everybody was using. There was a huge kind of step function and improvement there, and that the Sonnet 4.6 model is cheaper, but is getting equivalent results to the Opus 4.5 model. So that's what I've heard anecdotally. I haven't tried it myself. It's gotten to the point where honestly, the combination of the harness and the model together just gets you such good results that once you I almost don't rush to try the latest one or the newest one because the improvements are huge, but the improvements are almost, I'm seeing them at the harness level. So the functions that Claude Code is adding, like that at that level is where like at that layer, let's call it. That's where all the fun stuff is happening.
And then, sorry, what is Gemini good at?
I think it's also just a general multimodal, like huge LLM.
I'm thinking we make something like multi-step here and try and use all three in one go.
Yeah, sure.
So we've got our cheat model. What could we ask it to do with our Olympic data?
How about things land in bronze? But we are collecting so much data from so many different places, different locations, different sports, different stadiums. We have no idea what the data is, basically. It's completely noisy.
Okay.
So let's have it categorized according to sport or something. So we don't actually ever think about these schemas. We don't worry about any of this. The model decides for us.
And then the next thing, maybe we ask it to do some checking. Like, you told me that this data is about curling, and yet for some reason everyone is traveling at 100 miles an hour. This is clearly the wrong sport. And
okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah. Sonnet does the first piece. The Opus model is a little bit smarter, allegedly. So therefore it checks. And then Gemini, we could maybe have it divide further. Like we don't know what the data is coming in. It's just all kinds of data for a given sport.
Okay.
But that data could be like audience data, or it could be like athlete data. So it could be, here's what the athlete's doing, right? Here's the place, here's the time, here's the position. And you have audience data, which is like how many people are in the stands, like these kind of, like, so we tell Gemini to further categorize.
Perfect.
Okay, good start. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got loads of data coming in and we don't really know what it is.
Wait, you need another arrow. It needs to write that somewhere, right?
Yes, it does. So let's just have this go up to here to be silver. Just
okay.
Zoom in. There we go.
All right. I like it.
All right. Are we ready for our next feature?
I am ready. Give it to me.
I have an update about stateless streaming. So Spark Structured Streaming has had a lot of work over the last year, 18 months, to make it super fast, to make it super snappy. There is a lot of performance things that are going on in here as well, so that you don't have as many of those overheads. But now we are getting some performance improvements for stateless streaming. So if you think about things that can be processed record by record rather than kind of aggregations or joins or whatever, what the team have now brought in, we've got dynamic partition adjustments, we've got AQE, and also optimized shuffle is also available. So you shouldn't have to do anything to turn these on. They should just happen for you. Now, I tried to set up a little demo earlier and tried to trick it so that we could see this in practice. I don't think I ended up making enough data for it, candidly, for it to make sense. But essentially, I set up a stream here. And if you go through the query execution plan, you will be able to see things like AQE are enabled. And I might have to go through this afterwards because I cannot find it in here at the moment. In my describe history as well, if I run this very quickly, what I should be able to see is some optimizes happening within here.
This is, it's funny because like all the cool stuff in previous months has been all the advancements in stateful streaming. So when you first introduced this, I was confused. I was like, stateless streaming? What? I was actually confused. I thought it was a mistake. And so this is a performance enhancement. Essentially, yes, I'm simplifying. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
If you've never come across these things before, so AQE came out, about 3-4 years ago for kind of generic Spark workloads. And so if you've got very imbalanced data, it will be able to rebalance things. So that's the adaptive query execution, basically. So normally there's a planning stage at the beginning, and it was very naive to kind of like what any of the results were as this was then.
So if your data's skewed during runtime, it will adjust for that, so you don't have just one partition blowing the stream up.
Yeah,
cool.
So it's not just about the partitioning, it's also about kind of maybe the results are a little bit imbalanced. And so maybe it makes sense to combine a bunch of partitions that you're not, doing too much with it. And again, in terms of kind of optimizing, so we've got an optimize that is happening automatically here. And I didn't tell it to do these things. These are just the things that happened.
I love out of the box performance stuff that I don't even have to think about. Things just get better and faster. Yes. This is brilliant because it's very easy to work into our existing diagram. This happens in a stream for each event. I don't even know where to write that. Exactly.
So I think we should write it somewhere else, because I think if you've got a foundation model in your stream, you're going to hit some performance limitations there.
Hold on. This will just out of the box apply to any stream. Right. How else are you scoring bronze to silver? How did that happen? It must be happening in a stream.
It doesn't have to. You could have written that as a batch. And also, if it's AI query, I don't know if that counts as stateless.
Right, but if we're calling a UDF that just does an external call to an agent, I don't see why that wouldn't support partitioning dynamic stuff and like it should.
It should
I do think it applies. It applies because it's like just a regular function and it's stateless. Like it's a call, get a response.
That's fine. Yeah, I think my point is like you're getting all these like wonderful performance improvements, but then if you're slowing it down because you've got a bunch of AI query stuff in there, like you're probably not going to notice it. I think that's my point.
No, okay. So I'm going to disagree with you respectfully because I'll give you an example. You got, and in fact, we could even make this diagram crazier from here.
Cool.
You got your data and you categorized it. In the process of categorizing it, you've essentially partitioned it, and you've discovered the result of those partitionings is that it's heavily skewed. The hockey like final is like crazy because it has to track 10 players at a time, and so there's just a lot more data coming there. So now that partition, right, needs to be broken up, and so that's already something that all these optimizations apply to.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No.
I feel like you absolutely hate me for bringing this up. We need we need to raise the bar on the show. Like, it needs to be real. Right. We need to be real.
Okay, being selected about my own feature. Never mind. Go on then. What have you got? Let me poo-poo what
yeah. You could slam me now. Listen, I'm in search of the 10 out of 10 architecture. Are you?
Okay.
There you go. Let's talk about this. So now MLflow Traces, it's now super easy to have them sync to Delta in the UC in Unity catalog. And let me show you. This is actually something else I'm working on, so you can just ignore kind of everything about it. Oh yeah, no. Okay, no, I do gotta show this off. This is like the cool icon. Check this out. That's Nano Banana in action right there. So I made this little app.
Is that going to be you in a suit?
Yeah. It's like from my headshot. It's my headshot. That's me. That is me. You can't tell? This is me. All right. So this is completely besides the point. So this little app that I have that exposes a coding agent through a Databricks app, which I'm doing for fun. And so here, let's say here, I'm talking to Holly about the Olympics. Right. So it's not going to have any idea what the heck that's supposed to mean. I don't see any context. Great. The point here is that this whole app is being instrumented, right, by MLflow. So if I come back here into experiments and I find my little application, and then here you can see that trace. Here I'm talking to Holly about the Olympics, right? And so I have all these sessions and blah, blah, everything's instrumented. It's very cool. Now, this is the actual feature. This Delta sync currently says not enabled. So I can take this and let's just give it let's select a schema. So let's put it in whatever, it doesn't matter. The default workspace, default namespace, and let's call it Olympics Convo, even though it's obviously much more than just that. So we click this, and what this will do is it will set up a job automatically for us, a little pipeline that does the tracing, that syncs the tracing to Unity catalog for us. And trace syncing has been enabled successfully. Awesome. So let's go to the catalog and let's see what happened. I don't know how fast it's going to actually be, but we'll find out. Might take a second for the job to load, but it's okay. We can show that, but eventually it will come through here. So that's an incredibly handy feature. Just like it basically applies to any experiment that you have in MLflow within Databricks, and you should absolutely start using it because otherwise all this stuff is it's only in the experiments page and you can't expose it. So now it's in the UC. I can share this like I would any other table, and use it like I would any other table through DB-SQL, blah, 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 blah. So awesome feature.
I am a sucker for anything that is just going to put data in a Delta table for me, and then I can just lazily select star from it, and there's like no setup that I need to do whatsoever.
That's why we like Autoloader, Delta Sync.
Yeah. So I want to make like a logging area. Do I want to have my own separate bronze, silver, gold pipeline for logging, or should I just have it as a logging? area.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you can follow your heart.
Let's put logging in silver. I can do that. And that's from MLflow tracing.
That's right. Because it's connected and it instruments all these endpoints that are doing the categorization, data quality check, and other categorization. I like that.
Do you get traces for the whole agent? You don't have to set it up like per model, do you?
So you don't get MLflow tracing in the experiments page out of the box with the simple endpoints. So
Right, okay.
technically, the way that we've drawn it, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't have it in experiment. But for things like agent bricks or for a custom agent that you actually set up the instrumentation so that it is tracing through MLflow, it would work. This is a subtle nuance which we will ignore for the purposes of
well,
this
this is a
diagram.
custom agent. So could I say custom agent like with tracing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If it's custom, you know, hey, it
Fine,
supports
okay.
everything.
Well, I made this, so I've decided that it does. So, okay, excellent. All right, you know what? I think I have a feature next that might actually make use of some of this data. And that is multi-statement transaction support. Now, this has been around for a while now, actually. There is a new bit that's come to it. But if you've never heard of it before, this is if you need to make multiple bits of code changes to a table, but you need to have that as part of one single atomic commit. So let's say you've got a table and you need to delete from some stuff after some custom logic. You don't want to end up with that limbo status of like a half updated table. You can do multiple statements in that single one transaction. Now, the thing that is new that has come out about this is it is now compatible with Delta sharing as well. So if I'm making some changes to a table and you're querying it pretty rapidly, it's going to hold off making those changes to that table, and you will basically only ever see like the full transaction that I ever create.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, this is pretty sweet. I also don't think we've talked about like the multi-statement transaction thing before. But I do have a little example for us here. So I've got my schedules data, put it in my Delta share, and now I can make this transaction where it's going to update my table based on a status that I've got and a criteria. But then I can also delete from where this might have been cancelled. So let's run this and see if it actually works. One thing I will say, this is not to be confused with multi-table transactions, where you're making changes to multiple tables at once. This is multiple statements on a single table. So there we go. It's been added to our Delta share, and now this is something that has been able to run, even though this data is part of a Delta share, and if you were the recipient reading it, you wouldn't get any half-completed updates.
This is awesome, and actually it's a good note that you just said not to be confused with multi-table transactions, because I did not immediately register that.
Neither did I.
Because I was excited that it was multi-table, but now I see what we're talking about. Cool.
I am hoping that I will be able to talk to you about multi-table transactions soon. Like, I've seen a lot going on in the background. They are nearly ready. I think there are some people out there who might be on a private preview right now who are able to already use this.
That'll be truly the promised land. I don't know where to put that.
We've got some silver data. You can put some multi-statement transactions on that.
I mean, but what am I doing? Multi-table what? It's got to make sense.
Multi-table, multi-statement.
Oh, damn it. Multi-table, multi-statement table, multi-table, multi-statement.
Statement. You could make some like atomic commits based on some of those tables, where you need to update things for data quality reasons.
Okay, so let's just say then that we have a person.
Return of rectangle man.
This is for, and this will be for like manual intervention. Let's call it that. And they need to do some kind of intervention of the data in a multi-statement fashion. Let's call it that.
Then. Yeah, so let's say it's something that it's not picked up on. We need to make some changes. Yeah, I think a good example that I saw or thought of was, some of the data was collected, assume that it was real time, assuming that the Olympics is ongoing. But actually, if the Olympics has now ended and if there's no end date, well, there's never going to be an end date. So we should just say that that's null.
Boom.
Next feature, hit me.
Next feature. Oh, this one's cool. Supervisor agent, or otherwise known as lots of agents working together. If we go to agents and scroll here in Databricks, you'll see that we have something called the supervisor agent. And what makes the supervisor is, I think it was previously called multi-agent supervisor, which is a little too many syllables for me personally. Now it's just called the supervisor agent. And what it allows you to do is combine a lot of the other agents that you have here into one, and then it will orchestrate any requests that you give it based on that. So we actually have one deployed as part of Casper's, and this is Alexandra built this. It's really cool. And so we have this Casper's dev menu supervisor agent, and within it, so you can see select up to 20 different agents or tools that your supervisor can use. And so it calls different agent endpoints. So it calls this menu document search endpoint. I'll open up here, right? So we have this one. We have the inspection report search endpoint, which is this one, which is a knowledge assistant. And then we have this Casper's menu and safety one. And this is actually a Genie space. I don't have a warehouse, so this is rendering all funny, but that's okay. And actually, I'll start this warehouse. And so the point here is that any question that I ask for the supervisor overall, like tell me about food safety, it's going to go and it's going to figure out, okay, hey, who do I ask? And so it figures out that I actually can ask the inspections report search. So that's this agent endpoint. And then it triggers, and basically I'm going to call this kind of like a federated query. So it's asking the inspection report search to do something for it, and then it gives us the result. So that, I mean, it's the demo wise, it's as simple as that, but it's really powerful because it allows you to create your isolated different specific agents that have like an actual use case, like that's very narrow, and then combine them at your whim into a single supervisor. Really cool feature.
Fair to say it's basically like orchestration tool for agents?
Orchestration's tough because orchestration, yes, I think that's correct. It kind of implies maybe a little bit of an infrastructure thing, and it's not an infrastructure thing, right?
Okay.
Like it's like a router.
Okay.
In the agent world, I would probably say it's closer to a router.
So could I have my custom, Genie space, agent
endpoint, Unity catalog function, and external MCP server. Yeah.
Okay. That agent endpoint, could I have the big monstrosity custom thing that I've made?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So I think we're going to make this even bigger. And I think we are going to have a document extraction agent in here. What were some of the boxes that you had at the top there? Sorry.
So you can use a Genie space, an agent endpoint, which is like here, we can just click it, right? So knowledge assistant shows up here, but the other, if you had if you had other ones, you could do that. You could Genie space.
External MCP. Don't ask me in too much detail what these things do. Agent supervisor. You're going to basically route between all of these different things that we're going to have here. So we're going to have an agent supervisor, and it's got knowledge assistant, and that's also going to put some data into Silver. But all of these things are going to come together, and I'm not going to draw lines between them because it's going to be for the agent supervisor to decide what gets called when. How about that?
Brilliant. I mean, the nature of agents is you could just have drawn like a huge square over our entire architecture and just wrote agent.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I have another feature. I think this is going to be our last feature for today, which is actually going to help you probably with this Genie space as well. And that is to do with metric views. Nick, have you been using metric views for anything?
No.
Okay, then.
I get a slap on the wrist. I should be. But,
okay, then.
No, I mean, metric views are amazing. You should absolutely use them. I just don't have a use case.
If you are like Nick and you have not been using metric views before, they are kind of akin to a semantic layer. So they are going to help you to be able to put, I want to say knowledge, but to be able to put that kind of human context on top of data. And that is going to help anyone who's using a Genie space to be able to kind of derive any data in the kind of correct and official way. So when it comes to things like revenue, you will have the same way of counting revenue. You've got synonyms for these particular types of things. You can define how these particular things should be calculated, especially if there's a bit of nuance in there. Now, metric views has been around for a long time, but there are some new functionalities that have come into it. So first things first is window functions in metric views. So if you need to do like a rolling average, or if you want to do kind of something that requires looking over a period of time regularly, this is where window functions are going to come in. And now you can also do more with some of your aggregates as well, and you can filter within those aggregates too. So this is my metric view that I have defined earlier on. I've created it in YAML. There is a UI preview now, which is, I'm going to click on that. I don't know what that's going to do actually. But here we have some examples, and let's see if we can find here where my window function is. So we've got a trailing 7 days of the number of events that happened in the last 7 days in our Olympics data that we have here. And so again, we've got to kind of work, how do we want to order these things? Are they additive? Are they semi-additive? And what is the range that we want to have here? Let's see. I think I put a second. Oh, no, sorry. Here's my other one. And then we've got one here that's a cumulative example where things are being totaled for the last 7 days, which is really useful. And then in terms of some filters that we've got, I've got an example where I've got kind of the women's events that are going on, and I can total this up over time, but it's got that filter inbuilt to it. So it's always specifically doing that. I don't need to create another data set for it or another view on top of it. It is just something that I can define in my YAML. Should I press on this UI button, see what it does? I've never seen it until today. What does this do? Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, that's a lot nicer, isn't it? You don't sound particularly impressed at all by it.
I'm not as smart as you, and I don't understand what I'm looking at.
So previously you had
so
to
it's
define
literally
it.
just a nicer UI than a YAML.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, got it.
previously, battling with YAML is an acquired taste, shall we say? Whereas now, this is probably a bit cognitively easier.
Yeah. Sorry, it took me a second for it to register. I think part of my brain was apparently in my thumb.
Okay, then.
And sorry.
All right then. So we've got some metric views. Do you want to add that to our diagram?
Also, by the way, I want to add to your note a really good place for metric views to be used is in Genie spaces.
Yes.
Highly advise. Highly advise.
Yeah, I must confess, I think for me, for a while, I didn't really understand the point of a semantic layer at all. I was like, oh, isn't that just your gulp data? It sounds like you've not designed it very well. But when it comes to that interpretation of like plain English into SQL, I could understand how there's a lot of room for error there if you've not defined something up front.
Okay. So metric views, we're going to put them over the silver table. I'm not going to, I think your demo already showed the actual types of things that we could define. Yep. So we have them in general over our silver layer because that's where we've done some work and we're happy with what our data is. And we've actually also exposed it to the Genie space. So the Genie space has access to that semantic layer.
I really like this. All right then. So how would you rate our architecture?
7.
7. Yeah, I feel like this is got a lot more flavor maybe to it than some of the other things that we've done in previous months.
The features were good this month. It takes care of the architecture basically. Like this is good stuff. Lots of new cool agents, good functionality in streaming, performance, agent supervisor, multi-statement, not multi-table, multi-statement transactions.
Yeah, you wrote it in capitals. Yeah,
good stuff. What are you giving it?
I'm going to go with an 8, actually. I think
8?
I think the multi-statement transaction might be like a bit overkill, but I really like this idea of having like a really diverse set of data, being able to do so much with it. Basically, quickly being able to set something like this up and then being able to do useful things with it. I mean, how many useful things you can do with Olympic data is maybe up for debate, but I think if I saw someone do something kind of like this, I wouldn't go, oh my goodness, what are you doing? I'd say, oh, that's a really interesting use case, but I might tweak a few things here and there.
100%.
All right, then. Is that it for this month?
Tune in next week, next month, next.
All right, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to give out any of these features a try, then have a look in the description. I will link all the release notes below. Out of 10, what would you give this? Would you give this a whole thumbs up, or would you give it 0.9 of a thumbs up like Nick has just done? 1.9 thumbs up. Nick
See you next month. See you next month.
See you next month. Bye.